The lights on the bridge of the alien ship flashed green and blue as Admiral Zextar raised his clawed hand in victory. Around him, officers from 12 different alien species cheered and clicked their approval. The massive viewing screen showed Earth floating in space, silent and dark. No signals came from the human planet, no ships moved in its orbit. 3 days, Zextar said, his voice like grinding metal. 3 days since the last human transmission. Their defenses are broken. Their colonies are ash. Earth belongs to us now. Captain Jake Morrison sat in metal chains near the back of the bridge. His blue uniform was torn and dirty. Blood had dried on his forehead from when the aliens captured his ship near Luna Station. He watched the alien celebration but said nothing. His brown eyes stayed calm even as the aliens laughed about destroying his home world. Commander Velnoth, a tall reptile with green scales, walked over to Morrison. Your people fought bravely, human, but bravery means nothing against superior technology. Look at your precious Earth, no lights, no movement, we have won. Morrison looked at the screen. Earth did look dead. The alien fleet had spent 2 weeks bombing the outer colonies and space stations. They had destroyed the moon bases and the defensive platforms around Mars. Every human ship that came to fight had been crushed or captured. On the surface, it looked like humanity was finished. But Morrison knew something the aliens did not know. He had been a captain in the Earth Defense Force for 15 years. He knew about the secret projects, he knew about the hidden bases. Most importantly, he knew about the ships that waited in the dark space beyond Mars. You think you have won, Morrison said quietly. You think humans are weak because our outer defenses fell. Velnoth hissed with amusement. We know you are. Weak. Your ships are small. Your weapons are primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours. We studied you for years before this attack. Humans have nothing that can threaten the combined fleets of the galactic hegemony. The other aliens on the bridge nodded and made sounds of agreement. They had brought 200 ships to destroy humanity. Battleships longer than city blocks. Cruisers with shields that could stop nuclear weapons. Fighter craft faster than anything humans had ever built. The greatest military force the galaxy had ever seen. All focused on one small blue planet. Morrison almost smiled. Almost. These aliens thought they knew everything about humans. They had watched Earth's trade ships and patrol vessels. They had seen the public military displays and the announced defense budgets. They believed what they saw was all humanity had to offer. They were very wrong. On Earth, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, Admiral Lisa Carter stood in a command center carved from solid rock. Hundreds of technicians worked at computer stations around her. The main screen showed the alien fleet in orbit celebrating their victory. Ma'am, said Lieutenant Kevin Walsh, looking up from his station. We have confirmation. All outer stations are down. The aliens think we are finished. Carter nodded. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp green eyes. She had been planning for this day for 10 years. What about our people in the outer system? Captain Morrison's ship was captured, but he is alive. The other survivors are being held on the alien flagship. No word about our installations beyond the belt. Carter walked to a red console in the center of the room. She placed her hand on a scanner. A voice spoke from the computer. Admiral Carter. Confirmed, please state authorization code. Protocol Omega, Carter said clearly. Authorization, thunder from Earth. The computer paused. Then, Protocol Omega confirmed. Activating hidden fleet assets. Estimated time to deployment, 72 hours. Around the command center, every screen changed. Instead of showing the alien fleet, they now displayed 12 massive shapes moving through the asteroid belt. Ships so large they made the alien battleships look like toys. Ships that had been built in secret over the past decade, using technology the aliens had never seen. Send the message, Carter ordered. Walsh typed commands into his station. Far out in space, beyond the orbit of Jupiter, a signal reached the lead ship of the hidden fleet. Captain Ryan Brooks received the message on the bridge of the Dreadnought, Earth's Fury. The ship was 3 miles long and armed with weapons that could crack planets. Signal confirmed, Admiral, Brooks said to his crew. Earth is calling us home. Around him, his officers prepared for war. Lieutenant Commander Amy Stevens checked the weapons systems. Commander Pete Johnson reviewed the tactical data they had gathered about alien ship designs. Chief Engineer Dan Roberts made sure the quantum engines were ready for maximum speed. "How long to reach Earth?" Brooks asked. "At full speed, 60 hours, Stevens replied. "The aliens will never see us coming." Brooks looked at the main screen, which showed the distant glow of the sun. Somewhere around that star, aliens were celebrating the destruction of humanity. They thought they had won. They thought humans were defeated. Soon they would learn the truth about Earth's real strength. Back on the alien flagship, Morrison listened to the aliens plan how they would divide Earth's resources. Some wanted the oceans, others claimed the continents. They spoke about humans like animals to be managed or eliminated. Belnoth noticed Morrison's calm expression. "You are very quiet, human. Do you not understand? Your species is finished. In a few days, we will land on your planet and take everything of value." Morrison finally smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret that would change everything. "You know what your problem is?" Morrison said. "You think you know humans. You watched our ships and counted our weapons. You saw what we wanted you to see." "What do you mean?" Belnoth demanded. Morrison leaned back in his chains. "You'll find out soon enough." The alien commander hissed in frustration, but Morrison said nothing more. He just waited and watched the stars, knowing that somewhere in that darkness 12 ships were coming home. Ships that would teach the galaxy a lesson about underestimating humanity. The aliens celebrated their victory, but their celebration would not last long. The asteroid belt around Earth's solar system looked empty and dead to most observers. Millions of rocks floated in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. Most were small, no bigger than houses. Some were large enough to build cities on. But, hidden among these floating mountains of stone and metal, 12 massive ships waited in silence. Captain Ryan Brooks stood on the bridge of the Dreadnought Earth's Fury. The ship was so large that its bridge alone was bigger than most alien cruisers. Through the thick windows, he could see asteroids drifting past like islands in a dark ocean. His ship and 11 others like it had been hiding here for almost 10 years. "Captain," said Lieutenant Commander Amy Stevens from her station, "all systems show green. Weapons are charged and ready. Shields are at full power." Brooks nodded. Stevens was his tactical officer, a small woman with blonde hair and blue eyes that missed nothing. She had spent 5 years learning how to use weapons that existed nowhere else in the galaxy. The aliens thought human technology was primitive. They had no idea what humans could really build. "How long since we received the activation signal?" Brooks asked. 14 hours, sir," Stevens replied. Admiral Carter's message was clear. "Earth is under attack and needs us home." Brooks walked to the center of the bridge where a holographic display showed the entire solar system. Red dots marked the positions of alien ships around Earth. Blue dots showed where the 12 human dreadnoughts waited in the asteroid belt. The aliens had no idea they were there. "Commander Johnson," Brooks called to his intelligence officer, "show me what we know about the enemy." Pete Johnson was a tall man with dark hair and glasses. He had spent years studying alien ships and weapons through secret surveillance. His job was to know everything about Earth's enemies before they knew anything about Earth. "Yes, sir," Johnson said. The holographic display changed to show detailed images of alien ships. The enemy fleet consists of 200 vessels from 12 different species. Their largest battleships are 1 mile long. They use plasma weapons and energy shields for defense. Brooks studied the alien ships. They looked powerful and advanced. Their hulls were sleek and covered with weapon ports. But he knew something the aliens did not know. Human engineers had been studying captured alien technology for decades. Every weapon, every shield, every engine design had been analyzed and improved upon. "What about their shields, Icho?" Brooks asked. "Standard energy barriers," Johnson replied. "They can stop most kinetic weapons and energy beams, but our quantum disruptors will cut through them like they are made of paper." Stevens smiled at her station. The quantum disruptors were her favorite weapons. They could tear apart the bonds that held matter together. No alien shield could stop them because the aliens had never seen anything like them before. Engine status? Brooks asked his chief engineer. Dan Roberts looked up from his controls. He was an older man with gray hair and hands that were always dirty from working on machines. Fusion reactors are running at optimal levels, Captain. Quantum drives are ready for full power. We can reach Earth in 58 hours at maximum speed. Brooks was impressed. The human ships were not only bigger and better armed than anything the aliens had, they were also faster. The aliens had made their ships large and powerful, but they had sacrificed speed. Human engineers had found ways to make ships that were large, powerful, and fast. "Sir," said Communications Officer Nala Harper, "I'm picking up alien transmissions from Earth orbit. They're celebrating their victory. They think humanity is defeated." Harper was a young woman with red hair who could speak 7 alien languages. She had been listening to enemy communications for years, learning their tactics and plans. The aliens never encrypted their signals because they thought no one could understand them. "What are they saying?" Brooks asked. "They're planning to mine Earth's continents," Harper replied, her voice angry. "They want to take all our metals and minerals. They're talking about keeping some humans as slaves for dangerous work." The bridge became very quiet. Every human officer there had family and friends on Earth. The thought of aliens enslaving their people made them all angry, but it also made them determined. "That will never happen," Brooks said quietly. "Not while we're alive to stop it." He looked around at his crew. These were some of the best people humanity had ever produced. Engineers who could build impossible machines. Tacticians who could plan battles that no alien commander could imagine. Pilots who could fly ships through asteroid fields at speeds that would terrify most species. And they were not alone. 11 other ships just like Earth's Fury waited in the darkness, each one commanded by officers just as skilled and determined, each one armed with weapons that would shock the galaxy. "Captain," Stevens said, "I've been thinking about their attack patterns. The aliens rely on overwhelming firepower and energy shields. They've never faced an enemy that could punch through their defenses." "That's their mistake," Brooks replied. "They think bigger weapons and stronger shields always win. They never learned that sometimes you need to be smarter, not just stronger." Johnson pulled up more intelligence data. "Sir, our deep space reconnaissance shows that the alien species have been fighting the same way for thousands of years. They line up their biggest ships and blast away until one side runs out of ships." "Predictable," Brooks said. "What about their commanders?" "Admiral Zextar leads the fleet. He's from the Hegemony's warrior caste. Very traditional. He believes in direct confrontation and overwhelming force. He won't expect unconventional tactics." Brooks smiled. Unconventional tactics were humanity's specialty. While the aliens had been building bigger guns, humans had been learning how to fight smarter. The Dreadnoughts were not just powerful ships, they were weapons designed specifically to counter everything the aliens could throw at them. "All ships," Brooks said into his communication system. "This is Earth's Fury. Begin approach to Earth. Maintain stealth protocols until we reach firing range. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity." Around him, his crew prepared for the journey home. They had trained for this moment for years. Soon, the aliens would learn that attacking Earth was the worst mistake they had ever made. The 12 Dreadnoughts began to move through the asteroid belt, heading toward Earth and the alien fleet that thought it had already won the war. Admiral Zextar was enjoying the best meal of his life when the alarm started screaming. He was sitting in his private dining room aboard the flagship Sovereign Dawn, eating fresh meat from Earth's outer colonies and drinking wine stolen from human cargo ships. The taste of victory was sweet. Then the lights turned red and sirens filled the air. "Admiral, to the bridge immediately," came the urgent voice of his tactical officer. Zextar dropped his fork and ran to the command center. He found his crew in a state of panic. Officers were shouting at each other in 6 different alien languages. Computer screens flashed with warning messages. "What is happening?" Zextar demanded. Tactical Officer Cretan, a thin alien with 4 arms and gray skin, looked up from his station. His large black eyes were wide with fear. "Sir, Long-range sensors are detecting massive energy signatures approaching from the outer system. How massive? Zextar asked. Unknown, sir. The readings are off our scales. At first we thought they were asteroids, but the movement patterns show they are ships under power. Zextar felt a cold fear in his stomach. Ships? What kind of ships? We don't know, sir. They're huge. Much larger than anything in our databases, and there are 12 of them. Around the bridge, alien officers from different species stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. The hegemony had the most advanced detection technology in the galaxy. Their sensors could identify a small fighter craft from millions of miles away. But these new contacts were so large they seemed impossible. Send a probe, Zextar ordered. I want to know what we're dealing with. A small scout ship launched from the alien fleet and raced toward the approaching contacts. The probe had cameras and sensors that could analyze any ship design in known space. It should have been able to identify the mysterious vessels within minutes. Instead, something incredible happened. Captain Ryan Brooks watched the alien probe approach his ship on the main viewing screen. The small craft was no bigger than a shuttle, painted with the symbols of the galactic hegemony. Sir, enemy probe approaching, reported Lieutenant Commander Amy Stevens. Range, 50,000 miles and closing. Perfect, Brooks said calmly. Lieutenant Martinez, show them what human defensive technology can do. Lieutenant Tony Martinez was the weapons officer, a young man with steady hands and perfect aim. He had trained for years on the quantum disruptor array waiting for this moment. Target locked, sir, Martinez said. Firing focused particle beam. A thin line of brilliant blue light reached out from Earth's fury. It touched the alien probe. For less than a second, the small ship simply vanished. No explosion, no debris. It was there one moment and gone the next, as if it had never existed at all. On the alien flagship, Cretan stared at his screen in shock. Sir, the probe is gone. Gone? Zextar repeated. What do you mean gone? I mean it no longer exists. Sir, one moment we had full contact, the next moment, nothing. No wreckage, no energy signature. It just disappeared. The bridge fell silent. In all the wars fought by the galactic hegemony, no weapon had ever completely destroyed a target without leaving any trace. Even their most powerful plasma cannons left debris fields when they destroyed ships. Communications, Officer Nala Harper aboard Earth's Fury intercepted the alien transmissions. She listened to their confused chatter with satisfaction. Captain, the aliens are trying to figure out what happened to their probe. They're frightened. Good, Brooks replied. Fear makes people make mistakes. The human fleet continued its steady approach toward Earth. The 12 dreadnoughts moved in perfect formation, their massive hulls cutting through space like knives through water. Each ship was 3 miles long and carried enough firepower to destroy entire planets. Back on the alien flagship, panic was spreading through the fleet. Officers from 12 different species argued about what to do. Some wanted to investigate further. Others suggested retreating immediately. Admiral, said Commander Velnoth, the reptilian officer who had been guarding Captain Morrison. Perhaps we should consider withdrawing to a safe distance until we understand what we're facing. Withdraw? Zextar roared. We are the galactic hegemony. We do not run from unknown contacts. But even as he spoke, Zextar felt doubt creeping into his mind. The energy readings from the approaching ships were impossible. No species in known space could build vessels that large, and the weapon that had destroyed their probe was beyond anything in their technology databases. Captain Morrison, still chained near the back of the bridge, watched the alien panic with growing satisfaction. He could see the fear in their eyes, as they realized they might have made a terrible mistake. You look worried, Morrison said to Velnoth. Not so confident now, are you? Silence. Human, Velnoth hissed, but his voice lacked its earlier arrogance. Morrison smiled. You want to know what those ships are? They're Earth's real fleet. The ships you destroyed were just our outer defenses. What's coming now is what we built to deal with threats like you. Impossible, Velnoth said. We studied your technology for years. Humans have nothing that advanced. You studied what we "Let you see?" Morrison replied. "Did you really think we would show you our best weapons? We've been watching you too, learning everything about your ships and tactics. We know exactly how to beat you." The alien fleet tried to scan the approaching human ships, but their sensors could not penetrate the advanced stealth technology. All they could detect were massive energy signatures that grew stronger every hour. Admiral Zextar called an emergency meeting of all fleet commanders. Representatives from 12 alien species gathered on his flagship to discuss the crisis. The meeting room was filled with nervous chatter in many different languages. "What do we know about these human ships?" asked Admiral Korth of the Mantis Coalition. "Nothing," Zextar admitted. "They appear to be larger than our biggest battleships, but our sensors cannot get detailed readings." "How is that possible?" demanded General Vex of the Reptilian Empire. "Our technology is thousands of years ahead of the humans." "Apparently not," said Commander Morrison from his position near the wall. The aliens had brought him to the meeting as a prisoner, but he seemed more like a judge watching their trial. "You will speak when spoken to, human," Zextar snarled. Morrison shrugged. "You asked how it was possible, I told you. Maybe you should have thought about that before you attacked our home." The alien commanders looked at each other nervously. For the first time since the war began, they were starting to wonder if they had underestimated humanity. The approaching ships were unlike anything they had ever encountered, and the complete destruction of their probe suggested weapons technology far beyond their understanding. As the human dreadnoughts drew closer to Earth, the galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the smallest and seemingly weakest species could surprise everyone. The aliens had expected an easy victory against primitive humans. Instead, they were about to face the most advanced war machines ever built. The silence in space was broken when Captain Ryan Brooks opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. His voice traveled across the darkness between the human dreadnoughts and the 200 alien ships surrounding Earth. "This is Captain Brooks of the Earth Defense Force," his voice said calmly. "You are ordered to surrender immediately and withdraw from Earth space. You have attacked our home without cause. This is your only warning." Admiral Zextar stared at the communication panel on his bridge. The human captain's voice was steady and confident, showing no fear of the massive alien fleet. Around Zextar, his officers looked nervous. They had never heard such authority from what they considered a primitive species. "Respond," Zextar ordered his communications officer. The alien commander cleared his throat and spoke into the transmitter. "Human vessel, this is Admiral Zextar of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet has been conquered. You will surrender your ships and submit to our authority." Brooks' reply came immediately. "Admiral, you have 30 seconds to begin your withdrawal. After that, we will consider you hostile and act accordingly." Zextar felt anger rise in his chest. No species had ever spoken to the hegemony with such disrespect. He looked at his tactical display showing 200 of the galaxy's most powerful warships. "Attack formation," he commanded. "All ships, prepare to engage the human vessels." The alien fleet moved into battle positions. Battleships, longer than city blocks, powered up their plasma cannons. Cruisers activated energy shields that could stop nuclear weapons. Fighter squadrons launched from carrier ships, filling space with small attack craft. But the humans were ready. "All ships," Brooks announced to his fleet. "Engage enemy vessels. Show them what Earth's children can do." The dreadnought Earth's Wrath, commanded by Captain Susan Clark, fired the first shot. A beam of pure energy reached out from the massive ship and struck an alien battleship. The beam cut through the aliens' energy shields like they were made of glass. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire and metal. "Direct hit," reported Lieutenant Commander Amy Stevens aboard Earth's Fury. "Enemy battleship destroyed. Their shields offered no resistance to our quantum disruptors." The alien fleet stopped moving for a moment, shocked by what they had seen. Their most advanced shields had been pierced by a single shot. The destroyed battleship had been one of their strongest vessels. "Impossible," whispered Tactical Officer Creton on the alien flagship. "Nothing can penetrate Type 7 energy barriers." But the humans were just getting started. Captain Dan Roberts aboard the Dreadnought New Horizon used his kinetic accelerators to fire metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The solid rounds punched through 3 alien cruisers in a row, destroying all of them with a single shot. The aliens watched in horror as their ships were torn apart by simple metal bullets moving faster than light. The alien fighter squadrons swarmed toward the human ships, thinking their small size would make them hard to hit. They were wrong. Commander Chris Taylor aboard Iron Thunder activated his point defense systems. Thousands of small laser beams reached out from his ship, destroying every fighter that came within range. In seconds, an entire squadron was wiped out. "Our fighters are being destroyed," reported an alien squadron leader. "The human ships have defensive weapons everywhere. We cannot get close." Admiral Zextar watched his fleet being torn apart and felt true fear for the first time in his life. The human ships moved with precision his officers could not match. They seemed to know exactly where to shoot and when to fire. Every human weapon hit its target. Every alien attack missed or was blocked. "How are they doing this?" Zextar demanded. Captain Morrison, still chained near the command center, finally spoke up. "We studied you for years. Every ship design, every weapon system, every tactical formation. We know your weaknesses better than you do." Lieutenant Commander Stevens coordinated the tactical display aboard Earth's Fury, showing the positions of all ships in the battle. Years of secret observation had given humanity perfect knowledge of alien fighting methods. The humans knew how fast alien ships could turn, how powerful their weapons were, and exactly where to hit them for maximum damage. Meanwhile, the aliens knew nothing about human capabilities. They had never seen quantum disruptors or kinetic accelerators. They did not understand how human ships could be so large yet move so quickly. Their weapons were designed to fight other alien vessels, not the advanced technology humanity had developed. Within 1 hour, 50 alien ships had been destroyed. The survivors tried to retreat, but the human dreadnoughts were faster than any alien vessel. Captain Bill Thompson aboard Terran Resolve caught a fleeing battleship and disabled it with surgical precision, leaving the crew alive but the ship powerless. "Sir," called Communications Officer Nala Harper, "I'm receiving surrender requests from 17 alien ships. They want to negotiate." "Tell them to power down all weapons and wait for boarding parties," Brooks replied. "We'll accept their surrender, but they'll do it on our terms." The alien fleet was in complete chaos. Ships that had never lost a battle were running from human vessels they could not hurt. Commanders who had conquered dozens of worlds were begging for mercy from the species they had tried to destroy. On the alien flagship, Admiral Zextar realized his situation was hopeless. Half his fleet was destroyed or disabled. The remaining ships could not even scratch the human vessels. The primitive humans had somehow built the most advanced war machines in the galaxy. "Admiral," said Velnoth quietly, "we must surrender before they destroy us all." Zextar looked at his tactical display. The 12 human ships had defeated 200 of the galaxy's finest warships. It was the most one-sided battle in recorded history. "Open a channel to the human fleet," Zextar said, his voice defeated. "This is Admiral Zextar," he announced. We request terms for surrender." Brooks' reply was immediate. "Power down all weapons. Prepared to be boarded. Any ship that tries to flee will be destroyed. You attacked our home, Admiral, now you'll face the consequences." As alien ships throughout the fleet powered down their weapons and waited for human boarding parties, the galaxy learned a hard lesson. The species they had dismissed as primitive had been preparing for this moment for years. Earth's true military power was not in the outer colonies the aliens had destroyed. It was in 12 ships that could defeat any fleet in known space. The meeting room aboard Earth's Fury was designed to impress visitors. Admiral Lisa Carter sat at the head of a long metal table, with Captain Ryan Brooks at her right side. Around the table sat the representatives of 12 alien species, the same commanders who had attacked Earth just days before. They looked very different now. Gone was the arrogance and confidence they had shown when they thought they were conquering humanity. Admiral Zextar kept his eyes down, unable to meet Carter's steady gaze. Commander Velnoth's hands shook as he held his translation device. "Gentlemen," Carter began, her voice calm but firm, Let me explain how things are going to work from now on. She pressed a button and the room's walls became transparent, showing the space around Earth. The alien fleet hung motionless in the distance, their weapons powered down and their ships surrounded by human boarding parties. Several alien vessels showed signs of damage from the battle. A few were nothing but floating wreckage. You came here to conquer our world. Carter continued. You destroyed our outer colonies and killed thousands of our people. You planned to strip mine our planet and enslave our population. That was a mistake. Captain Morrison entered the room, now wearing a clean uniform instead of chains. He took a seat at the table and nodded to Carter. His rescue from the alien flagship had been one of the first actions after their surrender. The balance of power in this galaxy has changed, Carter said. Earth is no longer a minor species to be bullied. We are now the dominant military force in known space. You will adjust your behavior accordingly. Admiral Zextar finally looked up. What do you want from us? Carter smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. Reparations first. You will provide compensation for every human life lost and every colony destroyed. That includes materials, technology, and credits equal to twice the damage you caused. The alien representatives looked shocked. Commander Korth of the Mantis Coalition started to protest. That's impossible. Our economies cannot support such payments. Then you should have thought of that before you attacked us, Brooks said coldly. Would you prefer we simply destroy your homeworlds instead? The aliens fell silent. They had seen what human weapons could do. Earth's 12 Dreadnoughts could easily travel to any alien world and turn it into rubble within hours. Second, Carter continued, you will share all your advanced technologies with humanity. Medical knowledge, manufacturing processes, space travel improvements, everything. We want complete access to your scientific databases. That would take centuries to transfer, said General Vex of the Reptilian Empire. Then you better start. Immediately, Carter replied. We're very patient, but we're also very thorough. Every piece of technology you've developed over the past 1,000 years will be shared with Earth. She pressed another button and the display changed to show maps of the galaxy. Human ships were marked with blue dots now positioned near major alien worlds and trade routes. Third, all interspecies conflicts will now be subject to human oversight. When your people have disputes, you will bring them to us for resolution. Earth will serve as the mediator and enforcer of galactic peace. The aliens exchanged worried glances. The galactic hegemony had been the dominant force in their region of space for centuries. Now they were being told to accept human authority over their affairs. This is outrageous, Admiral Zextar finally said. You cannot simply take control of galactic civilization. Carter leaned forward. Admiral, 6 hours ago you had 200 ships. Now you have less than 50 functional vessels. We have 12 ships that can destroy entire fleets. What exactly do you think gives you the right to negotiate with us? Captain, Morrison spoke up. The Admiral has a point, though. This is a big change for everyone. He looked directly at Zexistar. But you started this war. You attacked our home. You planned genocide. Did you expect us to just forgive and forget? Chief Engineer Kevin Walsh entered the room carrying a data pad. He had been studying the captured alien ships for the past day, learning their technology and capabilities. Admiral, Walsh said to Carter, I've completed the analysis of their fleet. Their technology is actually quite impressive, but it's also very specialized. They built everything for fighting other aliens who use similar methods. He activated a holographic display showing alien ship designs. Their shields are strong against energy weapons but weak against kinetic impacts. Their hulls are thick but brittle. Their engines are powerful but inefficient. They never had to fight an enemy that approached warfare differently. Carter nodded. That's why they lost so quickly. They prepared to fight the last war, not the next one. She turned back to the alien representatives. This brings us to our final condition. You will establish embassies on Earth and accept human ambassadors on your home worlds. We want permanent diplomatic relations with every species in this region of space. And if we refuse? Asked Commander Velnoth. Brooks answered before Carter could speak. Then we visit your homeworlds with our fleet. I don't think you want that. The threat was not empty. News of Earth's victory was already spreading across the galaxy through faster-than-light communication networks. Other alien species were watching to see how the defeated hegemony members would respond to human demands. Captain Susan Clark entered the room and whispered something to Carter. The Admiral's expression became more serious. "Interesting," Carter said. "Captain Clark informs me that we're receiving diplomatic messages from 17 other alien civilizations. They all want to establish trade agreements and defense pacts with humanity." She looked around the table at the defeated alien commanders. "It seems the galaxy has already accepted the new reality. Earth is no longer the small, weak planet you thought you could conquer. We are now the power that other species want as an ally." Admiral Zextar slumped in his chair. The transformation was complete. In less than a week, humanity had gone from apparent defeat to galactic dominance. The species that had seemed primitive and helpless had revealed themselves to be the most advanced military force in known space. "Do we have an agreement?" Carter asked. One by one, the alien representatives nodded their acceptance. They had no choice. Their fleets were broken, their confidence shattered, and their home worlds vulnerable to human retaliation. "Excellent," Carter said. "Captain Brooks will provide you with the details of our requirements. You have 1 standard year to begin compliance with our terms." As the alien representatives filed out of the room, Carter looked through the transparent walls at Earth floating in space below. The blue planet that had seemed so vulnerable just days ago was now the center of a new galactic order. Captain Morrison joined her at the viewing wall. "Think they'll keep their word?" Carter smiled, watching the alien ships prepare to leave for their home worlds under human escort. "They will. They know what happens to species that break their promises to us. The age of human dominance had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same."